Southern Maryland has a lifestyle all to its own, and the waterfront lifestyle in Southern Maryland is no different. Let me tell you why I like Southern Maryland waterfront, why I live on the water in Southern Maryland, and some pros and cons of living on the water in Southern Maryland. Before I get started though, my name is Rob Schou. I'm a realtor down here in Southern Maryland with EXP. And if you're looking to buy waterfront in Southern Maryland, use that contact information below. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on the link, and it will schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me where we can talk about your home buying and selling needs. All right, so let's jump into it. Again, these are my opinions and my experience, so yours may vary. The very first thing I'm gonna say about living in Southern Maryland, and I actually grew up in Annapolis in a waterfront community, so I feel like I have a good comparison between these two, is it's going to be more laid back on the water in Southern Maryland than it is in Annapolis or Anne Arundel County or other areas like that. There's just more people, more population, more boats out there on the Chesapeake Bay and the Severn and the South River in that Anne Arundel County in there than there are on the Patuxent, the Potomac, and on the Chesapeake Bay down here. And it's just more laid back. When you look out on your waterfront, you're not going to see a ton of different boats out there and people and jet skis and all that kind of stuff. There's just less people, which means the waterways get less crowded. Now, the Patuxent River is pretty close to a lot of different population centers, so I would say the lower Patuxent in Calvert and St. Mary's is one of the more crowded waterways, but it's nothing like the South River or the Severn River on a weekend, or even the bay by Thomas Point Lighthouse right there in Annapolis that just gets absolutely insane. Now, when you're looking at waterfront homes too, normally they're gonna have more space. So they're gonna have bigger lots with more water frontage than other areas in Maryland, especially in Anne Arundel County. You're just gonna have more of that. But with those bigger lots, it does come more maintenance and things like that, but it's kind of that trade-off of whether you wanna be on top of your neighbor and have less maintenance, or maybe be a little more spread out and have more maintenance as well. Now, something I've noticed, and I was pretty fortunate, the home we live in right now was built in 2015, and it's one of the newer homes on the water down here in Southern Maryland. It is tough to find a new build in Southern Maryland on the water. It just is really hard. And so what you have right now is a lot of older homes that need some renovation or need some updating, and the price reflects that. St. Mary's County, Charles County, and Calvert County are almost half the average price of Anne Arundel County for their waterfront homes. So it makes a difference with the proximity, but also the condition of the home. So if you're someone that's looking for that second home that you want to put some work into, you really can do that down here in Southern Maryland. One of my favorite things, of course, about living on the water down here in St. Mary's County, I think the fishing and crabbing is better down here than areas north, even north up into like southern Anne Arundel County. I just think because of the amount of open space, better water clarity because there's less population, and just the lack of pressure from other fishermen and crabbers, you can catch more fish and crab and enjoy doing it as well. Now, one of the things that we don't have down here, and this may be a plus and maybe a minus for you, there's not nearly as many on the water restaurants. Now there's some on the Patuxent River, especially in Solomons. There's a few on the Potomac River, especially near Leonardtown, but compared to like Annapolis or Anne Arundel County in general, we just don't have as many. There's Deal, there's Shadyside, there's Annapolis. There are all those places in Anne Arundel County that you could eat on the water, over to the Eastern Shore, Kent Island, all those places too that you could go to, but we just don't have as many. We don't have as many options. And I don't know, I don't think that's a horrible thing. When I go out on the water, my goal isn't always just to bar hop or go, boat crawl from each bar to each restaurant. I like going out there. I like experiencing the water. I like crabbing and fishing, pulling up to a private sandbar and just hanging out for the day too. And I'm okay with eating a bologna and cheese sandwich instead of some crab cake or something like that. Now, something about living on the water that everyone questions, what about flooding concerns and flood insurance down here in Southern Maryland? And it's the same advice I would give anyone on the water or near a body of water is do your research. So each location is going to vary widely with the amount of insurance it's going to require, or even if the whole property is in the flood zone. Now, here's what I want to say. For you to need flood insurance required by a lender, the house itself needs to be in the flood zone. Almost every single property has some sort of flood zone on it. Waterfront property has some sort of flood zone on it. But if it doesn't reach where the primary structure is, your lender's not likely to require you to carry flood insurance. That being said, I always recommend that you do anyways, because you never know what's going to happen, especially when you live on the water. So it may be a better idea to have the flood insurance, even if you're just out of the required area that you need flood insurance. Look, I appreciate you watching today, and I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or need any help, use the contact information below, and I'd be happy to help you. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on the link, and we can talk about your waterfront desires on a Zoom meeting one-on-one. Again, I appreciate you watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.